From a rough inner city community, 2 years barely being able to walk as a child, to local, then overseas universities, and now a job in a demanding agency at a young age. How did he do it while going hungry along the way? Who are the people who helped? And what lessons can we learn from his journey? My guest is the head of the Registrar General's Department, Charlton McFarlane. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Charlton McFarlane, welcome to Profile.
Thank you. Thank you, Archie.
So you've had quite a journey from growing up in a tough inner city community in Kingston, to going to Kingston College, to going to the University of the West Indies, then university overseas, and coming back to work in a very demanding job. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start by talking about where you grew up. You grew up in Coburn Gardens, or Spanish Town Road in Kingston.
Yes, well, I don't know where you get the Coburn Gardens from. I can tell you, and everybody know, it's Cockburn Pen, right? So I born and raised in Cockburn Pen and York Avenue, to be exact. The sixth of 6 children for my mother.
Wash belly.
Wash belly, yeah, man. And the third of 3 children for my dad, right? At the time, my father, you know, not an educated man, originally from the country, from Hanover, came to Kingston at the young age of 22, but didn't develop any real skill per se outside of just his work ethic, right? So he would have worked during my formative years while my mother...
He was doing odd jobs.
He had a steady job, but it was as a laborer. It wasn't as a skilled professional, right, and stuff. And then my mother was mostly a housewife until things get really bad, and then, you know, she had to chip in with, as a higgler, doing hustling and stuff, you know, selling at school gates. She would sell at Hagley Park Prep School Gate, which is the school that I attended. That had its own issue, right? And of course, she would sell down by, what you call it, Coburn Gardens, all age, Cockburn Pen school, right? So she would, you know, travel in between both schools during lunchtime, during break time to sell, you know. And
it was challenging making ends meet for the children.
Absolutely, it was. Things were rough growing up. You know what I mean? While a lot of children would be happy when school is out on holidays, we were sad because it's one less meal to eat in the day. You know what I mean? During summer, you eat breakfast, you go on ramp, and you come back and eat dinner. At least when you're at school, you get lunch, right? We were also happy when they would give the Nutribun, cherry malt, you know, and the white milk and all those things, because it helped. Right, so things were tough.
But not for lack of effort on the part of your parents?
No, not at all. My parents, they worked really hard, right? As I said, my mother, when things got really tough, she decided that she could not sit idly by and leave all the pressure on my dad. So she took up selling. And then in 1992, which was the year before I started high school, my dad lost his job, a job which he had for 17 years. He became redundant. And at that time, my mother said, no, you know what? I now need to step in fully. And because of the inconsistencies with being a higgler, selling from school gate to school gate, she went and she looked at work. And the work that she found was to be the janitor down by the Hagley Park Seventh-day Adventist Church, right? So
where you went to church?
Same place where I went to church, you know. So, and again, if I was a different person, perhaps I would be a bit uncomfortable, but I'm not. I can tell you that many evenings while other children were playing after church at social events and stuff, I was there with my mother dusting the bench, right? Of course, I would ask her to give me a $2 or $5 stuff, you know what I mean? But I was there helping her. And, you know, I felt no shame in that, you know, actually, to be honest, because what's there to be ashamed about?
She was doing the work.
It's not stealing, she's stealing.
To raise our children.
Exactly, right? And that's what I did. That's what I knew. Very proud of my parents for the sacrifices that they have made.
And not only were they dealing with these rough economic circumstances and having the children, but also the fact that as a young child, you got sick at a point.
Yes, boy, trust me, I remember like yesterday. I was 4 years old, and I remember the Sunday evening because my older brother, Andrew, he won a trip to Bahamas. And you know, at that time, going to the airport was a big thing. So the entire family gone, basically, except me and my father. So I was there, and I buy my ice cream and thing, but I was upset. And I went to sleep Sunday night. Monday morning, I got up, tried to come off the bed, fell off the bed. Right? I tried to stand again, I fell. So I called out, Daddy, Daddy, I can't stand up. Father said, you're joking, man, with me, I can't stand up. Come and eat some of my breakfast. I said, Daddy, I can't move, right? And only to find out that I was paralyzed. So at the age of 4 years old, I lost all strength, all muscle ability and stuff in my legs. Not only in my legs, but my fingers as well. Even now, I mean, you know, if you ask me to do certain exercises with my fingers, I can't really do it.
And this is because of a condition called?
So the condition is called Guillain-Barré syndrome or Guillain-Barré syndrome, you know, depending on how you pronounce it. But at the time, though, I don't think the doctors knew what it was, you know, because I spent 6 weeks at the University Hospital of the West Indies, right? And about a week out of that in ICU. And while I was there, doctors even started to measure my head to see if my head was going too big. I don't know if they think some kind of other condition was it.
But what was really happening was that your body was kind of, in essence, sort of attacking itself.
Precisely.
And causing weakness in parts of your limbs.
Absolutely.
Understand.
Absolutely, right? And this illness stayed with me from the age of 4 to now, right? Things have gotten better, but I had to learn to walk all over again. And the irony is that of all the children, I was the first one to walk, and I walked at 7 months. And now I'm the only one that can't walk good.
And right? Also people mocking you as a consequence.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of that. I got nicknames growing up to the point where I did not want to leave the house to go and play. I did not want to leave the house to go to shop. You understand? The hardest thing is for my mother to call me and say, Charlie, go to shop and buy something because I just don't want to walk past anybody.
No, the mocking that you endured as a child was something that would continue when you went to high school.
Yeah, man.
But just before we talk about going out to high school, which is what we'll talk about in the next segment, I want to talk a little bit about what the community was like. Because you are not the only one experiencing challenges in terms of like poverty, but also challenges in terms of just violence, what the community was like.
Absolutely. The community is a volatile community, very volatile. Sometimes things would cool down, but when things get bad, Archie, I tell you, I can't go on the road adjacent to mine, right? So you have York Avenue, it meets Maho Drive at a perpendicular angle, and I couldn't go on Maho Drive, right? I remember one day I was coming from church, and when I pulled the gate, my dad was crawling through the front door to say, run, come in, them just killed 2 men. You see what I'm saying? I was about 7 or 8 at the time, right? So that was the type of violence I experienced. I would be coming from school, from high school. I remember it distinctly. Went through a place, Niggas Lane and stuff like that, and it's 2-gun nozzle I walked into, right? And thank God, you know, as a student, you know, the good thing was that if you were deemed by the community not to be involved in the violence, they wouldn't molest you so much. You know what I mean? They wouldn't prey on you so much.
And there's a certain amount of respect as well, because at that point, you'd have been going to Kingston College, and that's where I want to take the discussion when Profile returns right after this break.